Stop. Before you toss that dirty quarter back under the car seat, look closer. Some of the best finds come from the cold, forgotten places. Cup holders, old jackets, floor mats, and coin jars that haven't moved in years. On Legacy Coins USA, we're hunting state quarters like North Carolina, New York, and Oregon the way collectors do, checking mint marks, strike quality, and the bad condition clues that can hide real mint errors. Subscribe, and let's see what your change has been hiding. Let's get started. The first up. Imagine pulling a battered quarter out of a frozen coat pocket, the kind that's been through winters, car cup holders, and 100 quick purchases, and then catching the words North Carolina with that tiny airplane and first flight. In that moment, it stops being just 25 cents and starts feeling like a message that survived the cold. History doesn't always arrive in perfect condition. A 2001 North Carolina state quarter is one of the best coins for a high-engagement story because almost everyone has seen one, but almost nobody knows what to look for beyond the design. And the biggest twist is this. Sometimes the coins that look the worst are the ones people should examine the closest, because mint mistakes and rare strike problems can hide inside what looks like simple wear. Let's identify it clearly because credibility makes the mystery stronger. This is a U.S. state quarter from the 50 State Quarters program, featuring George Washington on the front with United States of America, Liberty, and In God We Trust, plus the mint mark and the year. On the back it reads, North Carolina, shows the right flyer, and carries the state's entry date 1789 with the words First Flight and E Pluribus Unum. Collectors love state quarters because they're a set, and sets create a chase. Even when a coin is common, demand stays alive because people keep trying to complete collections, upgrade condition, and hunt for varieties. Now zoom in on the P mint mark because it's the first gate. A P means Philadelphia, and most Philadelphia, North Carolina quarters were made for everyday circulation in huge numbers, which is why the average one is face value. But the mint mark still matters because it tells you what kind of coin you should expect and what comparisons to make. If it were an S mint mark, you'd immediately suspect a proof coin. If it were D, you'd compare Denver strike traits. With a P coin, your value story becomes a detective story about condition and errors, not about a rare mint mark. Here's the North Pole style way to explain condition without losing the audience. This coin is like a traveler. The more it's traveled, the more it shows. Look at Washington's cheek and hair on the front. Those high points wear first. On the reverse, look at the airplane lines and the lettering in First Flight. Circulation will soften the edges. Most worn North Carolina quarters are worth face value, and saying that honestly builds trust fast. But then you add the line that keeps people watching. Wear is normal, yet certain mint errors can look like wear or damage. And that's why you never judge a coin's story from a quick glance. Now let's talk about what viewers call bad condition, because this is where viral coin videos either become gold or become misinformation. A truly damaged coin, scraped, ground down, bent, burned, or chemically stained, usually loses collector value. But an error coin can look bad in a different way. It can look wrong, incomplete, shifted, or cracked, and that wrongness is exactly what collectors pay for. The trick is learning the difference between a coin that got hurt in life and a coin that was born unusual at the mint. This is where your script becomes engaging and educational at the same time, because you're teaching the audience how to separate treasure from trash. The most valuable bad-looking North Carolina quarters are usually the ones with visible mint-made errors. Off-center strikes are a big one, where part of the design is missing and blank space shows, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Broad strikes can make the coin look stretched with a weak or unusual rim. Clipped planchets can create a curved, bite-like missing section that looks intentional, not like someone took pliers to it. Strike-through errors can cause missing details where grease or debris block the strike, and die cracks or cuds can create raised lines or blobs that are part of the metal itself. These error types are why people should check ugly coins carefully instead of tossing them aside. Now bring in the detail your audience loves most. What to look at under light. Tilt the coin slowly and watch for the difference between scratches and raised features. A scratch cuts into the surface. A die crack or cut is raised, like a ridge you can feel with a fingernail. Look along the rim. A mint-made rim oddity often looks smooth and consistent, while damage looks jagged and random. Study the lettering in United States of America and E pluribus unum. If it looks doubled in a clean, repeated way, it could be worth comparing to known doubled die listings. But if it looks like a flat shadow, it may be machine doubling, which is common and usually not a premium variety. This simple light and angle test creates high engagement because viewers can do it instantly with their own coins. Because your description mentions a soldier seeing the plane, it's worth saying plainly, the North Carolina quarter design does not officially include a soldier. When viewers see shapes in worn metal, the brain loves to invent images, faces, figures, and silhouettes, especially when the coin is scratched or stained. That can be fun for storytelling, but in collector value terms, it usually points to wear patterns or damage rather than an official variety. If you want to use that in a high-retention way, frame it as a cautionary mystery. Sometimes the coin looks like it's hiding a figure, but the market only pays for changes the mint actually made, not illusions created by wear. That keeps the vibe dramatic while staying accurate. Now connect it to bicentennial coins in a way that boosts reach without derailing your topic. Tell viewers the same rule applies to the famous 1776 to 1976 quarters. Most are common, but proofs, silver collector versions, high-grade pieces, and real errors are where value lives. This keeps the audience in treasure hunt mode and encourages them to check their entire quarter pile, not just the North Carolina coin. It's the perfect widen the hunt moment that drives comments and shares, because suddenly everyone feels like they might have something worth checking today. Here's the deep, serious handling advice that makes your script feel professional. Do not clean the coin. Cleaning leaves hairline scratches and unnatural shine that collectors spot immediately, and it can destroy the very surfaces needed to prove an error. Hold it by the edges, store it in a simple holder, and take clear photos in natural light of both sides, plus close-ups of the date, mint mark, and any unusual area. If the coin truly looks like a mint error, compare it to verified references or consider professional authentication. That's how real value is discovered, slowly, carefully, and with proof. And the closing that hits like cold air and keeps viewers thinking, the 2001 P North Carolina quarter is common, but the exceptions are real, and the exceptions are what collectors chase. Most will be worth face value in worn condition, yet a genuine, dramatic mint error, or an unusually pristine example can be worth far more than a quarter. So don't spend the suspicious ones, don't trust hype, and don't ignore the bad coins. Because in coin collecting, the rarest stories are often hiding inside the coins that look like they've been through the most. If you upload a clear front and back photo of your exact quarter, I can tell you whether what you're seeing looks like damage, a normal worn coin, or something that deserves a closer error check. Keep a close eye on your change because that hidden treasure might be sitting right in your pocket. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a big find. Stay tuned, because in the next video, we're diving into another legendary coin that could be worth a small fortune. Next up, picture this coin the way a winter traveler would find it. Pulled from a frozen glove, edges cold, surfaces dulled by years of movement, and then the design hits you like a landmark in the snow. New York, 1788, and the words Gateway to Freedom on a 2001 quarter. It's still just 25 cents in spending power, but as a story it's huge, because the State Quarters series turned everyday change into a nationwide scavenger hunt. The moment viewers recognize this design, they don't just watch. They start digging through jars, car consoles, and old piggy banks to see if they have the same quarter. This coin is part of the 50 State Quarters program, and the New York reverse was released in 2001. The front carries George Washington with United States of America, Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, the date, and the mint mark. The back shows New York's outline with a figure of liberty and the state motto theme Gateway to Freedom, along with E Pluribus Unum and the state's entry year 1788. That combination matters because collectors don't treat it like a quarter. They treat it like a slot in a set, and sets create demand for years, even when the coin itself is common in circulation. Now, the mint mark is your first real clue, and it's the detail that makes your audience participate instantly. AP mint mark means Philadelphia, and most 2001 P New York quarters were made in large quantities for circulation, so the average example is usually face value. But that doesn't make the coin boring, because value isn't only about rarity by year. It's also about condition, special strikes, and real mint errors that slipped through. When you explain it like that, you're not selling hype. You're giving people a reason to look closer without promising impossible outcomes. Treat the coin like evidence recovered from the cold. First, look at the high points, because that's where wear shows up earliest. On the front, Washington's cheek and hair will flatten as the coin circulates. On the back, the finer edges of the design and the lettering in Gateway to Freedom soften with handling. Most coins viewers find will be circulated, and that's normal. But the hunt is for the survivor that looks unusually sharp and clean, because uncirculated state quarters with strong luster and minimal bag marks can carry a premium simply for being hard to find in that preserved state. The second layer is surface originality, and this is where serious collectors decide whether they're interested. If a coin has been cleaned or polished, it often shows unnatural shine and tiny hairline scratches that run in patterns across the fields. Cleaning can destroy collector appeal even if the coin looks brighter to a beginner. So the most important instruction in a deep, trustworthy script is simple. Don't clean it, don't rub it, and don't use chemicals. Hold it by the edges, store it safely, and let the surfaces speak for themselves, because originality is part of what collectors pay for. Now we move into the part that makes the video feel like a real treasure hunt. Errors that can make a common coin uncommon. On a New York quarter, keep your eyes open for off-center strikes where part of the design is missing and blank space shows, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Look for broad strikes where the coin looks slightly spread and the rim doesn't form normally. Watch for clipped planchets that create a smooth, curved missing section like a bite taken out of the edge. Strike-through errors can cause missing details where grease or debris block the strike, and die cracks or cuds can appear as raised lines or blobs that are part of the metal, not scratches carved into it. These are the kinds of bad-looking coins that can actually be good news. The key to staying credible while still being dramatic is teaching viewers the difference between a mint error and damage from life. Scratches cut into the coin. Real die cracks are raised. Random dents and gouges usually mean post-mint damage, while a consistent shift in the whole design can signal a striking error. Doubling is another trap. Many coins show machine doubling that looks like a flat shadow on letters, while true double die varieties tend to show cleaner, more separated doubling that repeats in specific places. When you add these distinctions, you protect your audience from false hopes, and you also boost engagement because people start posting close-ups asking, "Is mine raised or scratched?" Because state quarters are collected as sets, there's also a quiet value angle that performs well: high grade and proof coins. If someone finds an S mint mark version, it may be a proof coin originally sold to collectors, often with mirror-like fields and sharper detail. Even among P&D coins, the best preserved examples can become desirable to registry set builders who compete for the finest graded coins. That's why two New York quarters can look the same to a casual viewer, yet belong to completely different markets. One is spendable change. The other is a collectible specimen. To widen the treasure hunt and keep watch time high, you can connect this to the most famous everyone has it category: bicentennial coins. Most bicentennial quarters are common, but special collector versions, proofs, silver issues, and real errors exist, and viewers love checking them because they're familiar. The point isn't to promise a $1,000,000 miracle, it's to create a habit. Check dates, check mint marks, check condition, and isolate anything that looks truly wrong. That habit turns a casual viewer into a returning viewer, because now they have a mission every time they touch a coin jar. The strongest closing for this coin is a calm, serious warning that still feels exciting. The 2001 P New York quarter is common, but the exceptions are real, and the exceptions are what collectors hunt. Don't spend coins that look unusually clean, proof-like, or visibly misstruck until you've checked the mint mark and examined the surfaces under light. Never clean them, because cleaning destroys evidence. If you want, upload clear front and back photos of your exact New York quarter, and I'll tell you whether it looks like normal circulation wear, possible proof characteristics, or a genuine mint error worth researching further. Next up, it looks like a quarter that's been through a storm, darkened, dirty, maybe scraped up like it spent years rolling around under car seats. And then you catch the words Oregon 1859 and Crater Lake with the year 2005. That's the North Pole moment with coins. The cold realization that bad condition doesn't always mean worthless. It just means you have to slow down and figure out whether you're looking at normal wear or a mint-made mistake hiding under the grime. A 2005 D Oregon quarter is common in everyday condition, but it's also exactly the kind of coin where one unusual strike detail can flip the story from spending change to collector evidence. This is an Oregon State quarter from the 50 State Quarters program, and the reverse design honors Crater Lake, one of the most dramatic natural landmarks in the U.S. The obverse shows George Washington with United States of America, Liberty, and In God We Trust, and your D mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, you'll see Oregon in 1859, the state's entry year, plus E pluribus unum and the Crater Lake scene. This is a coin people remember visually, which is perfect for engagement, because viewers instantly think, I've seen that lake design before, and that triggers them to start searching their own quarter piles. Now for the honest collector anchor that keeps your video credible and watchable. Most 2005 D Oregon quarters are worth face value. Millions were made, and circulated examples are everywhere. But here's the twist that makes the video work. Value isn't only about the date. Value is about the version. Collectors pay attention to condition, proof-like or special strikes, and real mint errors. So your job in the script is not to promise millions. It's to teach viewers how to separate the normal coins from the exceptions. Because the exceptions are what people actually hunt. Because you said very bad condition dirty coin, lean into that like a winter survival story. Dirt can hide details, but it can also protect a coin from harsh cleaning damage if no one tried to polish it. Tell viewers to check the coin under strong light and look for the type of wear. Is it even and smooth like natural circulation, or is it rough and damaged like corrosion, chemicals, or scraping? Harsh environmental damage usually pushes collector value down, but mint errors can sometimes look like damage at first glance, especially if the coin has been through years of handling. The key is learning to recognize what is raised and part of the strike versus what is cut into the surface after the coin left the mint. This is where the "don't clean it" message becomes your most powerful line. Cleaning a dirty quarter might make it look nicer, but it can also destroy the very evidence needed to prove it's collectible. A cleaned coin can show unnatural shine and fine hairlines, and collectors will often treat that as damage. If someone wants to improve visibility for checking, the safe approach is gentle. Handle only by the edges, avoid polishing, and use lighting angles to read details instead of scrubbing the surface. In a serious tone, you can say it like this. A coin is a record, and cleaning is like wiping fingerprints off the record. Now bring the excitement with what viewers should hunt for on a 2005 D State quarter. Look for off-center strikes where the design is shifted and part of the blank shows, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. Look for broad strikes where the rim looks different and the coin appears slightly spread. Look for clipped planchets that create a smooth, curved missing section along the edge. Look for strike-through errors where grease or debris caused missing or distorted parts of the design. Look for die cracks and cuds that appear as raised lines or blobs. Raised is the key word, because raised features suggest something happened to the die, not to the coin in someone's pocket. The best engagement section is the real error versus damage showdown, because everyone has a coin that looks weird. Scratches and gouges cut into the coin. Die cracks are raised above the surface. Random dents usually mean post-mint damage. Consistent design shifts often mean a striking issue. Discoloration can come from dirt, chemicals, or heat, and that usually doesn't increase value, but a missing detail caused by a strike-through can. Also mention doubling carefully. Many coins show machine doubling that looks like a flat shadow on letters, while true double die varieties tend to show cleaner separation that repeats in specific places. This keeps the video dramatic and protective at the same time. Close the story by connecting the Oregon quarter to the bigger collector mindset. State quarters are a set, and sets create steady demand. Most people collected them casually, but serious collectors chase higher grades, proofs, and standout errors. Your dirty Oregon quarter is probably a normal circulated coin, but it could still be a valuable lesson or a real find if it shows a verifiable mint error, or if, under that grime, it's oddly sharp and uncirculated looking. Don't spend it until you've checked the mint mark, inspected the rim and surfaces under light, and looked for raised error signs. And if you want, upload clear photos of both sides and a close-up of the date and mint mark area, and I'll tell you what looks like normal wear versus what looks like a real mint-made issue worth researching. If you want more deep U.S. coin hunts and real collector checks, subscribe to Legacy Coins USA and check your change before you spend it.